Let's bring in our senior White House and political correspondent, Ed O'Keefe. Ed, you're hearing from the White House.
That's right, Vlad and Marie, good to see you again. White House issued a very short statement from the President and First Lady just a while ago. A spokesman passing along, quote, "The President and First Lady love their son and support him as he continues to rebuild his life. We will have no further comment." So that is the official line, public line from the White House and from the First Family, at least, on this matter. We should remind folks the President is waking up this morning in San Francisco. He is set to hold an event with academics and tech executives regarding the future of artificial intelligence out there before attending fundraisers for his re-election campaign. He's spending the night there in the Bay Area again tonight before flying back here tomorrow to host the Prime Minister of India later in the week. So he's got a jam-packed schedule. We will see over the course of today how close reporters get to him to see if he has anything else to say on camera about this. I suspect, having tracked the way he has responded to things like this in the past, he'll say very little or wait until his son has actually appeared before that judge in Delaware and this is indeed resolved before weighing in otherwise, because they have been so sensitive to the accusations of political favoritism. Aides have gone to great lengths to remind us that the President has never, according to them, discussed this with the Attorney General, never discussed the matter involving his son or any other member of his family, that he kept in place the Trump-appointed U.S. Attorney for Delaware, who had worked for Attorneys General Jeff Sessions and Bill Barr and stayed on to work for Merrick Garland and continue this investigation so as to remove any suggestion that he was being removed because he was investigating Hunter Biden. And we know that the President and Attorney General are very rarely in each other's company, at least publicly, or that we know about, and are known to just be discussing broader political priorities for the administration or at cabinet meetings, never privately the way, say, Barack Obama and Eric Holder used to hang out together as friends in addition to colleagues, or as former President Trump might have spoken privately with Jeff Sessions back in the day. So, we again will wait and see how the President is asked about this later and throughout the rest of the week. But for now, that's all they have to say.
But you know how some people consume the news, right? They read the headlines, they stick around for the breaking news title, and so they're going to hear Hunter Biden pleads guilty and maybe not even hear the rest of this. How could this impact the president's re-election campaign?
Well, and let's clarify what you just said. He agreed to a plea deal, which doesn't necessarily means he pleaded guilty to all of these charges. Remember, he's acknowledging the gun possession, not necessarily pleading guilty to something quite yet. And again, it all remains to be seen what the judge ultimately decides to do. So let's just clarify that.
Yeah.
How will it affect the re-election campaign? Look, Republicans talk about this every day. Noun, verb, Hunter Biden. Where's Hunter? Two-tier justice system. It will continue to be fodder on the Republican presidential campaign trail for sure. We will wait and see how they respond throughout the day today, whether it's former President Trump himself, or other candidates who will be out and about. There aren't many holding public events today necessarily. And then, we'll see broadly how the conservative media space continues to respond to this. There are some already suggesting this is just the latest example of a broken justice system, a Justice Department that needs to be completely hollowed out and rebuilt, as some presidential candidates like Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, and others have said needs to happen. We do have a statement, in fact, from the super PAC that backs former President Trump, and it says in part, Biden's Justice Department is cutting a sweetheart deal with Hunter Biden in order to make their bogus case to get Trump appear fair. Meanwhile, Biden's DOJ continues to turn a blind eye to the Biden family's extensive corruption and bribery scheme. The American people need President Trump back in office to appoint a truly independent special prosecutor that will finally bring justice. So that's an example of the kind of Republican response we're going to probably see throughout the day. And of course, officially, House Republicans are going to continue to use the official taxpayer-funded levers at their disposal to continue investigating this matter, seeking information from the Justice Department about it, as they have been doing so since they retook control of the House earlier this year.
And we should just remind people that, there has been an investigation into Hunter Biden's business practices since 2018 in Ukraine, in China, in Kazakhstan. It hasn't turned up evidence of wrongdoing thus far. And in terms of the congressional investigation, they put out an interim report. They also couldn't find evidence of wrongdoing. So, at this point, it's not like there's evidence out there that's being ignored. They're trying. They're just not finding it.
Exactly. I think it's a good way of describing it. And those investigations will continue. And now, inevitably, there will be more questions asked and more information sought from the Justice Department about the resolution of this matter.